News team from New York City will arrive to interview locals about President Trump's rally at Freedom Hall and its impact. Pennyman's owner, Michelle Turbeville, says she will be up at 4:30 on Tuesday morning to allow the news team to set up before opening the diner's doors at 6 o'clock in the morning.
They said they wanted a really small business. They didn't want any chains or anything like that. And so they done some research, and we were the lucky ones that got blessed to be a part of it.
Turbeville told us she was stunned to receive that news, but is honored to be featured in the national spotlight to represent our region. And tonight, all eyes are on the Tri-Cities as President Trump will soon begin his Make America Great Again rally inside Freedom Hall.
Yeah, doors open at 4 this afternoon, but the long lines began forming early this morning. Hundreds of people with tickets in hand hope to get inside to see President Donald Trump address a big crowd in Johnson City. Continuing special coverage of the Commander-in-Chief's visit just ahead on ABC Tri-Cities and News Channel 11.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
News Channel 11 and ABC Tri-Cities Community Heroes celebrates first responders. Live coverage in and outside Freedom Hall. Jackie DeFusco joins us live there.
Hey guys, we're outside of Freedom Hall here, and there are several Trump supporters filing out from the venue who were not able to get in. Of course, we got word that they were at capacity pretty recently. I'm here with Seth. He's from Johnson City. He is one of those Trump supporters. Tell me a little bit about, are you disappointed you didn't get to see the president?
Well, of course I'm disappointed, but the fact is whenever I got the tickets last night, I knew it was going to be a risk. I knew they didn't know how many people was going to show up, so I knew it's free, and I was expecting something like this to happen, but I'm just glad to be here,
Right. Okay, so, now, people like Seth, we caught Seth walking down the street. Now that there are many Trump supporters that can't get in, there are some confrontations happening among the many protesters that are hard to miss. I'll step out of the way so you can see them. And if you look across the street as well, there's many more. There are, Democrats lined up along the sidewalk and plenty of Trump supporters walking straight through that crowd. Now, we haven't seen any violence out of this crowd at this point, but we will continue to bring you coverage from this scene as people continue to really just engage in democracy out here. But I'll toss it back to you guys in the studio, and we'll stay with you. Jackie DeFusco, News Channel 11 in your corner.
All right, thank you so much, Jackie. News Channel 11 and ABC Tri-Cities continue to bring you special live team coverage of President Donald Trump's visit to our region.
The White House confirmed the president's Make America Great Again rally would take place in Johnson City 1 week ago.
And we're just minutes away from the official start of that rally. It is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. And you can see a full house inside as people inside are waiting for the president's speech. Shortly after the rally was confirmed, the White House said those who wish to attend the event could sign up for some free tickets. Well, thousands of people waited for hours and were outside Freedom Hall way ahead of those doors opening at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
For the people inside Freedom Hall, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see the president address our region. President Donald Trump and Air Force One landed at Tri-Cities Airport around 5:30 this evening.
Airport officials said due to strict security measures in place, the public was not allowed to come there to watch Air Force One land. News Channel 11, ABC Tri-Cities, and WJHL.com are in your corner with complete team coverage of the president's visit to the Tri-Cities. Our team is bringing you up-to-the-minute updates on the president's rally. Sarah Diamond and Jordan Moore continue our team coverage inside Freedom Hall.
Sarah and Jordan, both of you have been there for hours ahead of tonight's speech by the president, and now we're just a few minutes away from the rally beginning.
That's right, Curtis, and you know, we've been staged inside since just before 4 o'clock this afternoon, and I'm telling you, this crowd is getting excited. We've said that many times to you throughout the evening, but I mean it this time. They're all standing up. Some of them are dancing. They're holding their signs because we are now just minutes away, Sarah.
Well, when you play Queen, We Are the Champions, people are going to stand up and they're going to start dancing and waving their signs. And that's just what happened before we went on the air. But yeah, I think people know that President Trump has got to be close, if not here already. So they're like trying to be patient, but I think, you know, the culmination of waiting so many hours is finally hitting them, and they want to see President Trump here.
And I think another key sign that he is getting close is the fact that we've already heard from Congressman Phil Rowe, Republican candidate for Governor Bill Lee, and many others, even a congressman who came from Knoxville, just to talk about what this means for our region, the fact that the President of the United States is right here in Johnson City.
Yeah, Dr. Daryl Carter was talking about this earlier, about how crucial this midterm election is, because this is going to decide who has power. And that's why he says President Trump is coming to boost Marsha Blackburn's numbers a little bit and try to get the direction, you know, going in that direction, that energy, that movement.
And they've already talked about what this even means to have an event like this with thousands of people. This place is packed from floor to ceiling. And what that means, just the fact that people have traveled from all over the nation to see a sitting president right here in Northeast Tennessee. We talked to one lawmaker earlier. He said it really kind of puts Johnson City on the map.
It really does. I mean, it's a great way to introduce people to this area. I mean, a lot of people from out of town probably have never even heard of East Tennessee. They're like, wait a minute, I thought it stopped in Knoxville. Oh, it doesn't, because the most beautiful part is here in Northeast Tennessee. And they're getting to see that now. And the people who are watching it on TV are going to get to see it now. It's a great introduction to our area to show up how beautiful and how great our area is.
Absolutely. And just to give you a quick overview, people are really dressed in President Donald Trump gear from head to toe. We have Make America Great Again hats, T-shirts, as well as everything that they've been seeing.
Yes, a lot of signs. People were handing out signs. Pretty much everybody has a sign, and I know when President Trump takes to the podium tonight, they are going to be waving those things around.
Okay, well, we're getting the wrap signal, so we'll have more live coverage coming up for you in just a little bit. Stay right there.
This is a News Channel 11 special report. President Donald Trump brings his Make America Great Again rally to the Tri-Cities. We're in your corner with team coverage of the president's visit.
News Channel 11 and ABC Tri-Cities continues to bring you breaking news special coverage tonight as President Donald Trump prepares to soon begin his Make America Great Again rally at Freedom Hall.
And you are taking a live look inside Freedom Hall in Johnson City, where a packed crowd, some who waited for hours to get inside, are eagerly awaiting the Commander-in-Chief to take the stage. The event officially kicked off just moments ago. Good evening. I'm Ann Carter.
And I'm Curtis McLeod. Less than 2 hours ago, President Trump and Air Force One arrived at Tri-Cities Airport in Blountville. The president then traveled to Johnson City. The Commander-in-Chief is adding rallies to his schedule ahead of crucial midterm elections next month. Following today's rally, the president will travel to Mississippi tomorrow before boarding Air Force One again Thursday, where he is scheduled to appear in Minnesota.
But ahead of his travel to the Tri-Cities, President Trump departed Joint Base Andrews on Saturday for a Make America Great Again rally in Wheeling, West Virginia. Now, this is the president's 7th trip to West Virginia, where he's campaigning for Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, who's running for U.S. Senate.
From the moment Congressman Marsha Blackburn and former Mayor and Governor Phil Bredesen announced intentions to run for retiring incumbent Bob Corker's Senate seat, it's been a spirited battle, the two defeating other challengers in the August primary election and winning their party's respective nominations. Getting those nominations came with hours of campaigning and thousands, in some cases millions of dollars. Let's take a look at some of those numbers. According to the Federal Elections Commission, as of July 2018, Marsha Blackburn had $7.3 million in campaign contributions. That number includes $5.5 million in individual contributions to Blackburn's campaign. About $61,000 of that overall amount is money Blackburn was able to raise in the Tri-Cities region. Some of Blackburn's biggest supporters locally include Eastman Chemicals and Greenville businessman and philanthropist Scott Niswonger, who donated over $10,000 to Blackburn's campaign. Taking a look at Democratic challenger Phil Bredesen. As of July 2018, he had a little over $4.8 million in campaign contributions. That number includes $4.5 million in individual contributions to Bredesen's campaign. So far, a big portion of those funds were donated to his primary campaign. About $20,000 of that overall amount is money Bredesen was able to raise right here in the Tri-Cities region. While no local major corporations have donated to Bredesen's campaign just yet, he has been able to collect about $10,000 combined from several individuals living in the Tri-Cities area. According to the Federal Elections Commission, a majority of Bredesen's campaign funds were directed towards his primary campaign. Blackburn has a scheduled fundraiser in the Tri-Cities today in efforts to raise even more money for her campaign.
And our very own Josh Smith has been embedded with the presidential press pool since the commander-in-chief landed at Tri-Cities Airport this afternoon.
Josh just finished speaking one-on-one with the president. Here's an excerpt from that interview when Josh asked him about the new trade deal he announced today with Canada and Mexico.
One is potentially the president will be able to greet law enforcement, and there are many of them who have gathered here on the runway. That greeting with law enforcement actually may happen at Freedom Hall later on as well. And then a big question has been, what would happen at that point? Would Marsha Blackburn be on the plane with him? Would Phil Rowe be on the plane with him? We have received no confirmation that I've seen so far about who will be on board Air Force One with the President of the United States. But last month showing Democrat Phil Bredesen with a slight lead, which is incredibly significant because this is Tennessee, firmly Republican, a huge win for the president 2 years ago. Democrats haven't won statewide office in this state in years, and yet here we are looking at a very popular former governor who is a Democrat leading in some polls. When you put it into that context, it would make sense that as much as possible, the president would be seen with Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, who's running for Senate here in Tennessee. Now, after that point, what's next? We learned that the president will be traveling by motorcade to the White House, to Freedom Hall, which will have as much security as the White House tonight. It's going to be unbelievable what awaits the president there. As far as a route is concerned, within the last hour we've heard from a very well-placed source who's going to be handling security that route is not going to be made public, but that it will be a route that is closed. The moment the president's motorcade leaves Tri-City Aviation, leaves Tri-Cities Airport, until he gets to the airport, or at that moment he leaves, the route, I'm told, will close. So that means if he lands at 5:15 to 5:20 and gets in the car, say, we're just guessing, 5:30, that means from here to Freedom Hall, that route closes. So if you're planning travel tonight, you need to be preparing for that. Will he take Interstate 81 to Interstate 26 to Roane Street? Will he take 75 and State Route? We don't know that. But we know they will move quickly, and we know that traffic will be impacted almost immediately and will stay that way. And the same is true when he leaves Freedom Hall tonight after the event. I'm told that route from Freedom Hall all the way here to the airport will be closed even before he gets to it, and right after he comes through, that route will be opened back up. We are on a platform where earlier today we didn't think we'd have a chance to be at this time of the day. We're very appreciative of the Secret Service and the security detail for allowing us to come here and report to you from this angle. Right here is where Air Force One will be. Nose pointed to the left of your screen, tail to the right. The president, we're told, will walk right off here. It's going to be parallel to this platform on which we're currently standing. And we'll be with the president as he comes here, part of the area that's just off to the airport, just off to the planes, parallel. We'll stay here. We'll bring it to you live. Our hope is to be able to bring you coverage live of the movement of the president from here to Freedom Hall. And then in Freedom Hall, which is something I don't want to get into if you guys have already covered it, but the president will be for about an hour doing events like a round table is what it's being called now. We will not see the president until he walks back out on the stage around 7:15 or 7:20 tonight. That's the latest from Tri-City Aviation. They're getting the steps ready. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Josh. Now, before the Make America Great Again rally kicks off at Freedom Hall, he will attend a fundraiser, as Josh mentioned, for U.S. Senate candidate Marsha Blackburn.
The Congresswoman is in a heated Senate race with former Tennessee Governor Democrat Phil Bredesen. The race is in the national spotlight because Democrats need to gain 2 seats in the Senate for control, and some polls show Bredesen with a slight lead.
Jackie DeFusco talked with Congresswoman Blackburn ahead of today's fundraiser and rally at Freedom Hall.
Jackie, what did the Congresswoman have to say?
Yeah, guys, of course we talked about the rally today, and I started off by telling her, or asking her rather, why Johnson City and why now? And she told me that she will continue to be a sure vote for President Donald Trump's agenda in the Senate if elected. And that the goal of today is to get East Tennessee Trump voters back to the polls, pointing out that many Trump supporters in the area hadn't voted in decades in some cases before the 2016 election. Talking to Republicans on the rally grounds today, it's clear that the stalled confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh is top of mind. Blackburn made clear in our interview where she stands on that.
As the hearing took place, I think it became very evident to people that this is a PR stunt by the Democrats. And